This segment of Packard Pokes At was made possible by patrons of the show and viewers like you. Please go to patreon.com/PackardPokesAt to help support the show. Thank you. We kind of mentioned at the top of the show here that this election cycle has been incredibly weird, but it has opened a lot of doors for the Democrats, and not just people who are believers that are Democrats, but also atheists who are also Democrats. Over in Washington State, there's a woman, her name is Jennifer Goulet. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. I could be wrong. I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. She's running for Washington State House in District 9 in Position 1, and her primary position against two GOP opponents took place just recently, and she's getting ready to do battle with them in November. She did actually quite well. She came in second place out there, and the reason I bring that up is because she's an open atheist. And the fact is that an atheist can get into office anywhere nowadays is very difficult. But with the fact is that people like Donald Trump are getting out there and saying really ridiculous, crazy-ass shit, I have hopes that atheists can get in and say, hey, I don't believe in God. And to believers, they think that's the craziest shit ever. I mean, even far worse than anything Trump has said. But I'm so glad that we can get in there. Tom, your thoughts?
Well, we still need to destigmatize being an atheist.
Yes.
So the more people that just are willing to put themselves out there and say that they're running as an atheist. Steve Hill out in California, who's a comedian, he also ran basically as an open atheist. They may not get anywhere, but they're still kind of chipping away at the system, at normalizing the idea that politicians can be atheists.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Barney Frank. Barney Frank was an open homosexual, and he waited until he was out of office to admit he was an atheist.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Yes.
And people should run for office as an open atheist with the clear understanding that they're not going to get elected. They should put no money into it. They should just put the name on the ballot and say, I'm an open atheist. I'm running for office.
Yeah. I would like to see more atheists run for office and bring some rationality to the parties everywhere. I mean, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. If you're an atheist, just run. That's, try to bring some rationality to it. Did you have further comments there, Tom?
Just it's so frustrating that when somebody says they're an open atheist and it's like, oh my God, how can that be? We need to flood the system. I think everyone should have a YouTube channel. Not everyone should be working as hard as Scott, but should be putting it out there to normalize being atheist. Just put your name on the ballot and put your name like mine. I'm Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist. I should shut up and I should run for office myself.
There you go. I vote for Tom.
Take my advice. I'm not using it.
Tom, if you run, I'll move to your district and I'll vote for you. And then I'll move back where I am.
I'm unemployed right now, so I've got time.
There you go. There you go.
Awesome.
Paul, what are your thoughts?
Well, the thing of it is, in more local politics, I think it's a lot easier for an atheist to run. So if you're running for a seat in the Washington State House, Washington, from what I understand, tends to be a little bluer.
Yeah.
And tends to be a little less religious. So I'm not as stunned by this, open atheist getting on the ballot thing.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
But, I do agree that it's the people who are walking around and being atheists and being disingenuous. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not Barack Obama is secretly an atheist.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And it's like, if he is, he needs to quit, covering it up and lying about it, especially now that he's a lame duck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are they going to do to him? Send him to a tugboat?
Yeah.
Come
on, it's Muslim.
He even, and the thing is, though, he has to appoint somebody. I mean, for the Supreme Court, he has the job and the ability. Even though the Republicans keep saying, oh, he shouldn't be able to do that. It's like Reagan did it. What the fucking difference does it make? Because the fact is a black man would put somebody on the Supreme Court, that's the big problem here, I think. But you're right. He should come. If he is an atheist, he should come out. I mean, what more can they do to him? It's like, oh, we have to impeach him. Oh, no, you can't do that because it says in the Constitution that no religious test.
Right.
And that's what religious people can't wrap their minds around, is the fact is that just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you can't run for office. And in the states where they have these things where they say you can't run because you're an atheist, it's bullshit. You can run because the country's constitution supersedes state constitution, especially specific things like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
the
you know what?
Interstate Commerce Clause
I
and all
agree
that
with
kind of
Tom
stuff.
when he was saying that we do need more atheists, and I totally agree. We need more atheists that are out talking about it. We need more atheists in government. We need more atheists that are out atheists in general, just so as that we can move that window over and have the lack of belief not only something that you hear about, but something that isn't something that you think about anymore. Right. A lot of the time, in most places in Canada, even where I live, which is more of the Bible Belty kind of part of Canada, there still being an out atheist, like, yeah, people kind of like want to ask you questions, but there's not this outright vitriol that happens that here that is like that in the United States. And it goes without saying, like, you have candidates such as Bernie Sanders who had the whole DNC email leak a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying that that they were going to try to smear him as being an atheist. Because right now, in the political landscape that is America today, being an atheist is the worst thing that you can do. It's worse than being Muslim. It's worse than being black. It's worse than being any other minority or any other thing. Being atheist is the one of the hardest hurdles to overcome, especially when you're going into government, and it basically marks political suicide. Like talk about like a recurring trend in this whole discussion is that this again is just, it would be political suicide for a person to come out as atheist, and that's why people like Barney Frank came out after he already left office. I didn't actually know that information off the top of my head. I'm just going by what you guys said. But yeah, I think that we need as many atheists as we possibly can. And it actually is kind of interesting because in the United States, there is, I think since they started tallying this kind of stuff, there's been less than 20 out atheists that have served in office. So, and that's in the United States, and considering your population, like, that's like fucking nothing. But also, like, in Canada, there's only been 4.
Yeah. Well, some places take longer to catch up. I mean, you know, maybe we get more
again,
later on.
It's population size and everything.
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
that's true. That's true.
Like we have about the same population as like Los Angeles or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, California.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Los Angeles. That'd be ridiculous.
One of the tough things, though, that I think is that historically atheists have not voted as a block.
Right.
Right. Christians can be relied upon to vote a certain way, more or less, and social justice folks can be relied upon to vote a certain way. Feminists can be relied upon to vote a certain way. Atheists is like herding cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're so dry that it's like herding cats. It's with all these other groups, they all have like this common specific cause to get behind. But atheists, other than I don't believe there's a God, there's nothing that binds us together.
Right.
No.
Well,
I think that's the most important part about the atheist community is that nothing actually does bind us together. Yeah. And going back again to those people I was showing out earlier, I was watching a video from No More Dogma the other day, basically saying that it's a really important thing that none of us do get along, or not necessarily even get along, because we do get some of us are able to get along with the other. But it's important to have all these kinds of discussions that people are having nowadays because this kind of stuff needs to be talked about. Not everybody else out there right now is talking about the kinds of things that we're having massive controversies about in our community, you know? So I think that it's greatly important.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of controversy within the atheist community right now. But there is one thing that binds us all together, and it's the only thing, is that we just don't believe in a God or the God claim. Everything else, and I always put this out to people, I said, everything else is up for grabs. Evilness kind of pointed this out in the chat room. She says Australia has an atheist leader, and they censor the hell out of all the media. Atheist leaders don't always make the everything better, sadly. Thing is, them being an atheist is completely irrelevant. It could just be his own personality. That's the reason why he's doing the certain things that he's doing is because of his own personality. We'll go back to Trump for a second. Look at the shit he's done. He said to the media outlets out there, he's done the same thing. I am a Christian, but I'm going to censor the media. So that him being Christian or this guy that's in Australia being an atheist, it's completely irrelevant. We might as well just say that everybody that has a mustache and that happens to be atheist is also bad too, or just men with mustaches, or just men for that matter.
Aren't we already saying that?
Yeah.
Where have I been?
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at these pictures, and I think we all fall in that category.
Yes, you know what? I think we all. As a matter of fact, we all have beards and mustaches.
Yeah.
Can't say for sure about Scott, but the little white guy.
Oh, you mean Aaron?
All right, huh?
It says Aaron, not Scott.
Oh, Aaron.
Yeah, it's Aaron.
I was gonna say Scott who? Scott sounds
What
show were you on,
Nothing
Tom?
matters.
How do I get on
you
that
being
show?
familiar.
Now, Evilist does make a good point here. She just commented again here. She says, stop the straight-up dismissal of someone because they're an atheist. That's bullshit. And I completely agree with that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's, again, going to the whole thing about the more people that are out there, regardless of whether or not you guys believe one thing or believe a different thing politically, right? When it comes to the whole God. When it comes to the whole God claim, there needs to be more people on all sides saying, hey, I'm an atheist, this is normal. Just like, and you know, we've been making slow headway, but people in the LGBT community have been able to do that. They've been able to make their voices heard, and a lot of people now are seeing like their granddaughter come out, or like their fucking dad, or whatever. Right, so it's or their coworker or what have you, and it doesn't change who the person is, right? So we need that same kind of thing to happen with atheists and skeptics. We need to have everybody know that, like, hey, it's not a fucking big deal,
right?
Yep.
Like, and it shouldn't be. Not believing in a God should be the most natural thing in the world, because technically it is the most natural thing in the world. You have to actively try to believe in a God.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you're convinced into believing it for bad reasons.
Well, almost more importantly, though, what we really need to do is, get back to what this country was actually based on, which is secularism, and have whatever religion or what you believe in is brought up saying, shut the hell up. It doesn't matter what I believe.
Yeah.
I'm here to do a job. This is what I plan to do with the job. What I believe is irrelevant.
Yeah, I wish these people would do that. If these people who, because we are predominantly Christian here in this country, like 79%, which is dropping steadily. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a lot higher, but it's going down.
Well, it is slightly pie in the sky to wish and hope for everybody to be put onto like the same footing for whatever reason. People are always going to have their natural biases for whatever reason it is. And even if we were to completely destigmatize the word atheist from like our vocabulary, there's going to be another thing that people are going to hate on people for, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Like, it doesn't really change the fact that anything is going to be. The whole point is that needs to be a non-issue, and right now it seems like it is, again, political suicide, and you just can't do it. So.
Yeah, it does need to be a non-issue. Did you like this segment of Packard Pokes At? If you did, please click here on the video to see more from this show. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the show. You can find our second podcast, The Atheist, the Bible, and No Wardrobe, on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Be sure to check those out.